Morning, colleagues. Good morning, Minister. Or, well, I call the Minister, MP Natalie Heddy, Nita Garvey, sorry. I want to touch on one thing that was said earlier, and then I want to touch on a comment that was made by MP Rhoda Crawford. Our minor water supplies, the minister went about, and in Manchester, he has put about 4 water shops. Those water shops cost us about $12 million on a monthly basis. Those are put up in areas where there should be no NWC water. We have to buy the water from the NWC. We have to chuck it to the people. We have to pay people to watch what is happening there. And to date, the minister has not increased the budget for minor water supply. He can check the facts. He's going to come with something else. But one thing I am not afraid of is that to tell people you must not be intellectual dishonest. Tell the people the truth. The truth, nothing helps but the truth. MP Crawford at a meeting on Sunday referenced 2 matters. One, that she has suffered based on a comment that somebody had said. And it has been happening a long time at the Manchester Municipal Corporation. But let me state categorically, the Manchester Municipal Corporation, or no corporation that I know, play no tricks with anybody money. We don't play no tricks with people money. I can tell you when the MP says that she has to stop sending money to us, I will tell you what happened, because it is the truth. The MP got a Christmas allocation. She went about herself and gave out the works. Asked my technical persons to pay the bill. And I told them it could not happen. Our reference must be from the technical persons. We are not rubber stamping. We believe in accountability, responsibility, and integrity at the Manchester Municipal Corporation. No MP can instruct the Manchester Municipal Corporation. She spoke about when a former councillor died and that I was hogging up the money. The law is the law. I had consultation with her. She sent me some information, and I worked with the information. But when she began to politicize what was happening, then I had to take a break. The people didn't just vote, or the residents in the community, they are not just labor rights. They are PNP and labor rights. And so I want to say to her, tell the people the truth. Don't cover it. Because Manchester people, central Manchester people, are looking for the truth. She talked about roads. She named a few. We just did some work on Ward Avenue. She is in charge of the road that leads from Main Street down at Bird's gas station to the town center. Tell her to go and look at it. When you talk about Perth Road, you look at Perth Road in Mandeville and tell me if the MP is doing any work. I mean, you can talk as you like, but the people will look on to see what is happening. Look at the Winston Jones Highway and the bush that is there. I can't even call it whatever, but it is bush. She has not done any work on those, but she gets up to speak about other things that don't come to her. I'm asking her to be, she's a teacher, tell the people the truth. She's the Minister of Education, don't misinform the people, because the people will hold you accountable for the things you have said to them. Overall, I want to say the Manchester Municipal Corporation does not use any tactics at all in delaying any money or payments or works or project for any MP whatsoever. The comments made by whoever are not the views of the Manchester Municipal Corporation, and I state that categorically. I have made sure that I have said to my CEO, anything that comes in here, members of parliament, must be brought to my attention because I know how the CDF business work. And so we have been doing that. The member of parliament must tell you the truth, that she tried to circumvent the system and had to straighten it out. Enjoy the rest of the morning.
MPs Burchell and Nita Garvey, colleagues, members of the press, viewers, good morning. I just want to spend a few minutes to look at some of our experiences out in Western Jamaica since the passage of Hurricane Melissa, and how these situations are being made worse by lack of resources. And I'm going to be starting, ladies and gentlemen, not with roads, but I'm going to start with the most vulnerable amongst us. And therefore, I'll be starting at the infirmaries. Now, Melissa wreaked havoc indeed on a number of our infirmaries and poor relief departments. And the Westmoreland Municipal Corporation Infirmary and Poor Relief Department were indeed not spared the wrath of Melissa. The same can be said about St. Elizabeth. The same can be said about Trelawney. The same can be said about my neighboring parish of Hanover. And even though it was clear, and it's still clear, that our poor relief department was completely destroyed. I mean, the buildings flattened, and our infirmary also suffered extensive damage to the laundry, to the kitchen, and to the meal ward. Despite all of this, the meager subventions that we normally got remain the same, or for some months were even less. Just to show you that for the infirmary, on a monthly basis, we require anywhere between $14 to $16 million to fund this facility. But yet, we receive anywhere between $8 to $9 million from the Ministry of Local Government per month for this. So this is leaving us with a shortfall of anywhere between $8 to $9 million on a monthly basis. Now, our residents need to be fed. Bills need to be paid. Staff salaries need to be paid. So this shortfall must come from somewhere. Where is it coming from? Own source. The minister speaks about us having 20 up to 20 revenue streams, own source revenue streams. I've been checking, and I can't find 20 realistic, consistent own source revenue streams in the system. Because for one, our market would have been a source of revenue, yes, even though we still had to be subsidizing activities there. But after the market was completely destroyed, Minister Mackenzie, even though some vendors are still willing to pay something to occupy the grounds, Minister Mackenzie came there and publicly said to the vendors, no pay no market fee because the market not there. So he himself has erased one of the streams of revenue that he speaks about every single day without finding a way to help us replace it. Right? He recently made mention about the Westmoreland Municipal Corporation not wanting to pay contractors. The only person that wants to pay contractors is Minister Mackenzie himself. Because Minister Mackenzie came to the Westmoreland Infirmary after the advent of Melissa and publicly stated that whatever repairs are there to be done, they should be done, and his ministry will foot the bill. He sent down his technical team, they did their assessments, they did their estimates. A contractor was selected and placed on the job. And we have sent in the contractor's bills with all the documentation from February 27. Wow. And we're now into July. And the contractor still has not been paid. I want to make it clear that the contractor is owed not by the Westmoreland Municipal Corporation, but by the Ministry of Local Government, led by Honorable Desmond Mackenzie as Minister. We see where we still have people, still have persons in shelters in the parish, approximately 9 months after the hurricane. Wow. We still have 8 active shelters, and these shelters are mainly concentrated in central Westmoreland and eastern Westmoreland. The most popular of these shelters being the Petersfield. And these shelters currently house 60 shelterees. Pronouncements have been made about the Petersfield shelter. Now let me point out that when the Ministry of Local Government started or commenced work to establish an area to house shelterees who were at the Petersfield High School, the Westmoreland Municipal Corporation was not contacted, was not consulted. It's after we comments that were brought into the know. And at that time, we received a contract from the Ministry of Local Government with instructions for us to sign and send back to the ministry. So we sat down, administration, technical team, etc., look at the contract. And we realized that there were flaws and there were gray areas and there were questions to be answered. So we responded in writing, asking for clarity on a number of these matters. Response from the ministry was somewhat slow. All they wanted us to do was just sign and send back. Now, in this day and age, we're not into any rubber stamping business. We are there to serve the people and to serve as best as we can. We had concerns about sewage disposal and all that, which were not adequately addressed in the contract. Bearing in mind that the location for this project is just a stone throw away from Rhoda River. Rhoda River supplies water to more than half of the parish, right? And Rhoda River has a history of typhoid. So we do not want to be careless or casual about this matter. So we're asking pertinent questions, of course, about sewage disposal and all those sort of things. We're also asking about the involvement of NEPA. We're also asking about whether or not a subdivision approval was granted. We're also asking about whether or not approval for the use of the land was obtained. because these lands, as far as I know, belong to Sugar Corporation of Jamaica. We can't be out there discouraging squatting and capturing of land. And then as a government agency, we become part and parcel of same actions. So as a result of us asking these questions and trying to get clarity, it angered some persons. But we prefer to anger persons to protect, or while protecting the people, and also while protecting the good name of the Westmoreland Municipal Corporation. So currently, there are 10 housing units, container houses, and at this location. We recently received a letter of no objection from the Public Health Department with regards to proposals that have since been made about sewage system to be put in place. I still haven't seen anything from NEPA. But as a responsible municipal corporation, we still intend to do all we can so as to assist our people in having a roof over their heads, because we're now into the next hurricane season. And by our estimate, in eastern Westmoreland alone, there are over 40% of the houses that were destroyed, that lost their roofs, are still without roofs. So we know you're approaching certain places in eastern Westmoreland and also in central Westmoreland. And if you're on the hill looking down, all you can see is blue. You'd have thought that the sea have now come inland. And all this blue represents tarpaulin. All this blue represents tarpaulin. And at that note, I just want to briefly mention that I am really disturbed and concerned that the process of assisting people through the Ministry of Labour, their assessment, their roofs program and all that, I'm really disturbed about the slow pace. People out there suffering. You have adults, when they see signs of rain coming, they start to fret. Because yet after 9 months, they're without a roof, still exposed to the elements. The hurricane season started on June 1, and we into the end of July. And there's no end in sight to these people and the plight that they are facing. We suffered a lot of damages to our roads. And as mentioned before, the cost of adequately rehabilitating one road. At Westmoreland, we get approximately 24 million on average, 25 million on average per month for PRF. 14 divisions. Yeah. After we have deducted the mandatory deductions, SGR and which is 20% of that. Yeah. Deductions come to about 38% of that 25 or 24 million. We are now left with approximately $700,000 to $750,000 per division per month. This money is supposed to be used to do road rehabilitation, fixing of sidewalks, doing drain cleaning. And I can tell you that we have drains in Westmoreland that to clean such a drain from end to end properly will take you into the millions. 2-3 millions minimum for some of these drains. So when a division is allocated $750,000 per month, for a councillor to respond to cleaning a major drain, you would have to save this money. Now, if you try to save this money, you're going to be neglecting something else somewhere in the division. At a recent meeting in Savlamar that was attended by Minister Albin Hill. This meeting was put on by the Westmoreland Chamber of Commerce. Some businessmen stood up and spoke, and some of them were saying that they feel as if Westmoreland is now a forgotten parish. They wanted to know whether or not Westmoreland was being punished for voting for the People's National Party. And believe me, when these people spoke, they spoke with passion about it. And these people speaking were political activists. One man actually said that he supports the JLP, but he's disappointed at the way how the parish is being treated. Credit to Minister Arbinelli. He said that we will be taking the plight of the people back to cabinet. Don't know if he has done so as yet, but we are looking forward to hearing whether or not that was done. But ladies and gentlemen, in short and in closing, I just want to point out that disaster recovery cannot be funded from an already inadequate operational budget. Disaster recovery needs special allocations. Yeah. And bear in mind also that we are coming off the back immediately of Hurricane Melissa. But Westmoreland also took a battering the previous year from Hurricane Beryl. So it's like a whammy. And we're hoping and praying that going forward, as we go forward in this current hurricane season, we will be spared the wrath of another hurricane or any other disaster. And I'm calling upon the government to look into their conscience and do the right. The people of Western Jamaica, the people from the parishes that were most severely affected, more than ever, need the assistance of government. And I also want to say to the hard-working councillors out there, we have hard-working, genuine councillors on both sides of the political fence, from right across Western Jamaica, St. Elizabeth, St. James, and over Trilla, right across Jamaica, for that matter. Be not daunted by the heavy burden that you have been made to bear with the requisite tools to bear and carry such burden. And to our constituents, we hear your cry, we hear your plea, but we ask for patience as we continue to lobby on your behalf. And to the officers of the municipal corporations, some of whom, whenever it rains, they can't work because their buildings, the offices have been destroyed, their computers and other electronic equipment have been destroyed. We know that you're suffering, really. We know that the work environment currently is not what it should be, but press on. Press on. And Jamaica, we thank you, and Jamaica thank you for your service as well. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.